Hey guys, Ascanio here, and if you're in the market for a new or maybe a used KTM, two things that I think I should share with you guys, two things that really annoy me about KTM. The first are the parts. You know, parts are extremely hard to find unless you're at a KTM dealer, and I'm on a round the world tour. So I'm currently in Ecuador, and yeah, there's a KTM dealer here, but generally speaking, it's really hard to find parts. And when you do find the parts, they're very expensive. Replace the clutch and replace the brake. Each one of those was over $100 for one, right? Not for the pair. For one, you know, the KTM plate that you put on the kickstand to make it a little bit wider so it doesn't crash as easily, fall over as easily. Put one of those on, it was also $100. So yeah, very annoying to you know, have to spend a stupid amount of money for simple parts that should cost maybe a third or a quarter of what they charge. But that's one of the things that really annoys me about the brand. I'm sure that you can get aftermarket parts, but it's just not as convenient. The other thing that I really have a hard time with are the electronics. So I have a hard time with the electronics, and that's because it seems like there's always something going on with the electronics. As many of you guys know, the more electric you make it, or the more electronics you add to the bike, the more chance you have of something going wrong. And right now I'm waiting, just here at the dealership, waiting. It's gonna take an hour at least before they can check my bike. They've got two scanners, but they only have one with a cable. So I gotta sit around and wait forever. Pretty much it's the whole day, because I've been here already for an hour and a half. So it's gonna be another hour if I'm lucky, so maybe 3 hours total, hanging out at the dealership waiting because they gotta run a scanner because none of my electronics are working. So I was riding today, the heat grips don't work, you can't really regulate any of the other stuff. The only thing you can use while you're riding are the ride modes. You can switch off, of course you need to close the throttle, but other than that, nothing's really, able to ride. So what you gotta do is you gotta stop on the side of the road and then everything works. The problem is that in Ecuador, you don't have shoulders like in the US. You basically, if you stop on the side of the road, you are in the road. And cars are gonna be, if they don't have enough space to pass you, you risk getting hit. So super annoying. And the electronics, I think, is tied to the reliability factor. I know a lot of people, a lot of you guys out there that have KTMs or that are thinking about KTMs have heard about the reliability issue. Are KTMs reliable? Well, I've got a 2017 KTM Super Adventure R that has about 66,000 kilometers on it. I've ridden it for 35,000 kilometers, so what is that, like 42,000 miles now, 43. And I've ridden about 30,000 kilometers on it, so like 20,000 miles more or less, right around there. KTM, if you guys are listening at all, if you care whatsoever, please do something, fix the electronics, make it easy and don't, mess around with it that all of a sudden it doesn't work. Oh yeah, one other thing. We talked about parts and we talked about electronics. My hazard stopped working. You guys want to guess how much it is to change the hazard, the emergency hazards, that basically that little red button above on the right that you hit when you're on the side of the road and you don't want people to crash into you? $200+. That's what they're charging me for that's what they want to charge me for that. The other electronic thing that hasn't been working either is the TPMS sensor in the back, in the rear tire. That one's, I don't know, $75, $100. They said they don't really know what to do here. Maybe I can find it in the States for cheaper. Anyway, here in Ecuador, they're like, yeah, we don't really know what we're gonna do, what you should do, and if you want to change it, we'll have to order you the part, blah, blah, blah. So huge pain in the ass. Now I have no idea what tire pressure, I'd have to connect my tire inflator to find out what the pressure is, but it's annoying, obviously. I'd like to have a TPMS sensor that works, and they quoted me something ridiculous, like you have to change the whole sensor, you can't change the battery. So again, part of the electronics and the parts issue combined into one. So not happy about that. And the only major mechanical issue I had with anything other than electronics was the stator. I was in Nicaragua. I started hearing at 4,000 RPMs, I started hearing a whistling, like a whoo. Once I hit 4,000, exactly like that sound actually. And I didn't know what it was, and so I asked around on the forums, nobody knew what it was, but it was actually the stator getting fried. So basically what happened is that the stator's the alternator for motorcycles. It's a different name, I don't know why. But that thing is what charges the battery when it's running. So that thing got fried, so what happened is that my battery wouldn't charge while it was riding. So I was in Nicaragua, I had to basically disconnect all the cables, all the fuses, so that none of my electronics, my lights would work. Anything that would take up battery, I would disconnect it because it would start at 14.3 after actually 12.6 after I loaded up the bike. by the time I would end at the end of the day of riding, it was like down to 8 or 9 volts. So that's the only thing that's really been a problem. Having said that, overall, you know, I love the bike. I mean, you know, there's nothing like the power and torque of a 1290. It gets you out of so much trouble. I mean, you know, I ride pretty aggressive. I am very happy that if I decide to overtake some cars and there's not that much leeway, that if I need to, I can blast past everyone in half a second and be on, you know, find my way in before oncoming traffic comes. That to me is worth all the headaches and whatnot. And of course, there are other bikes out there. The one I've really been looking at lately, and I've been here and I've jumped on it a bunch of times, is the 890, the new 890, the 2023, the Adventure. Looks absolutely amazing. You know, I'm definitely looking at, you know, possibly getting that at some point. But, you know, other than that, you know, that's pretty much it. I'm sure that there's other things that have gone wrong that I can't remember right now, but that's what's top of mind right now. So if you guys are thinking about a KTM, just, you know, those are 2 considerations that you might want to keep in mind. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your day.